702.
The Big Interview
With Bongani Bingwa.
20 minutes after 7 o'clock, we've been asking a very simple question this morning. Have you been affected by crime recently? And in what way in the last year? Is it a house robbery? Was it a hijacking? Was it a mugging? Was it sexual violence? Maybe by even someone you know. The feeling of having a gun against your head, cold steel against your temple. Does it give you a shudder just to perhaps even remember? And worst of all, the feeling that the perpetrator was never caught. They got away with it. That is certainly the story of civil servant Babita Diokoran, the insolvency lawyers Clute Murray, and likely now Boa van Niekerk, all trying to halt commercial crimes, all gunned down in broad daylight to send a chilling message. It's the criminals that are in charge, not the police. Well, CEO of 91, Hendrik Toit, say it's time South Africans stood up. And he joins us now on the line. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, Hendrik. Perhaps today not under such pleasant circumstances, but you're saying enough is enough.
Morning, Bongani. And thank you, listeners. I think there comes a time, as we did in this country in the 1980s, when we all took a stand and we changed the place. This time has started now because once a society is engulfed by crime, once that cancer is inside, it's incredibly difficult to remove. And I think this is the number one challenge of South Africa. And what triggered my comment was the brutal murder of yet another legal professional involved in a process of investigating crimes. And if we can't investigate them in a constitutional state, we can't prosecute them. And that's what makes it so important for our authorities to get their act together and society to put pressure on everyone.
Look, one of the reasons I wanted to speak to you was, as awful as this crime is, particularly, of course, for Van Niekerk's family and colleagues, at an individual level, the implications are far greater for the society and how business is conducted. I shared earlier that I was one of the last people to interview Clute Murray for Carte Blanche some years ago when he was killed. If creditors cannot be assured that they're able to get their monies and this kind of white-collar crime is investigated thoroughly, that has serious implications for how business is conducted in a country, does it not?
Exactly, Bongani. I speak as a servant of the largest number of South African savers. At 91, we look after 3.3 trillion rand of other people's money, of which a little over a third, approximately a third, belongs to South Africans. And
Hendrik, are you still there? I think we don't know if we have you.
By the ordinary
Hendrik, hold
the
on.
ordinary laws and
we lost you there for a
rules
second.
Of civilized commerce.
Sorry, we lost you there for a second. Can I just ask you to repeat that again? And the line just died as we were speaking to him. We're trying to get him back because I think a lot of the focus around this issue has been the murder. And of course, it's horrific if anybody is killed in this way. But the implications for how business is conducted in this country, I think, need to be examined as well. Let's try and get Hendrik Toit back on the line. Let's quickly take this Eyewitness News traffic brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702.
EWN Traffic.
Well, traveling in Hyde Park, we've got an accident reported on Jan Smuts Avenue. It's right near Bumpers Road. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there. And if you are traveling within the Sandton CBD, do expect delays on Grayston Drive coming out of the M1. There's also queuing traffic along Rivonia Road. This is towards Grayston Drive, obviously due to peak time delays around this time of the morning. And then in the city of Tshwane, we're still dealing with that accident scene on the N4 West near the Proof Plus interchange. I'll have more details coming up shortly.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Does your wallet need a break? Then an OutSurance quote is just what you need. Get a quote, and if OutSurance can't beat your car insurance premium, ask them for 500 Rand cash. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you always get something out. Get a quick and easy quote today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. OutSurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
702
The Big Interview.
with Bongani Bingwa.
All right, we've got Hendrik to Toit back on the line. Hendrik, I asked you a very simple question that as awful as the individual murder is, this kind of crime has serious implications for how commercial activity is conducted in a country.
And Bongani, thank you very much for getting me back online. It's very clear that if the ordinary rules of commerce don't count and we don't have legal certainty, the values of assets will significantly depreciate, and that will cost South Africans an enormous amount of money. It will cost them the opportunity to retire with dignity, and that's the business I mean. At 91, we look after, as I said, 3.3 trillion rand of assets of other people, of which approximately just over a trillion is from South African savers, of which a significant part is invested in this country. And therefore, this is an important issue, societal issue. It is not, but we shouldn't also just think of the macro. Every death this way is absolutely unnecessary. You know, we lost Murray. We don't know who killed him and his son. We have lost Oma Fole. We don't know who killed, a range of people. Simapini, all of these people have not been accounted for.
I mean, we've got a murder detection rate of just over 12%. That tells you that more than 80% of all murders in this country are then not solved. What does that tell you about the police?
It tells you that murder and crime has become a large-scale industry, or have become large-scale industries. It tells you that the law enforcement agencies need urgent reform. I think we can have commissions. We had the Matlanga Commission. We're having it now, wonderful, but ultimately it needs leadership changes. It needs renewal from inside and decisive leadership from the top. You know, the Tulare Commission in 2021 exposed most of the corruption that's happening in Gauteng. What we've done, nothing.
Sure. Just perhaps one last word, because I really think it's important to really, really explain it. You talk about what the implications are for commercial activity in South Africa. So this isn't just something to shake our heads at in terms of this poor fellow and his family and colleagues. But how would this kind of thing, I mean, if you've got insolvency and business rescue practitioners afraid to do business, many of them getting threats and withdrawing from matters, what does that actually mean for the ordinary person?
Well, the reality is, if legitimate claims cannot be enforced, then the value of those claims will become less. What do savers own? Savers own claims on future cash flow, whether that is through credit instruments, the money market or credit funds, or whether that is owning shares of businesses, which all do business in legitimate ways. So in a sense, it makes all of us poorer, because what happens with capital goes to places where it finds certainty. What have we seen of late in the United States, where the president and the government has become unpredictable? Well, the mighty dollar has started to weaken. Capital is being withdrawn. Capital is going to, it doesn't have that much, the US is a fantastic place to invest in, but actually this year it has slowly been withdrawing because it fears the uncertainty and unpredictability. What we can do in South Africa, we make ourselves predictable, a place with a strong legal system, which we've always prided ourselves on. I mean, since for the last 150 years, we've had one of the world's best legal systems. If we can protect and retain that, we will all be much better off. And then our chance of building a growing economy, an economy that can give our children jobs and provide a better life for all is so much better. So that is the reason why all of us, wherever we are, whatever influence we have, should start not just talking, but acting in the right way and making sure that this country goes the way it can go, which is building a prosperous, inclusive society for all.
Indeed, our very future is at stake, essentially. CEO of 91, Hendrik Toit.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.